All right, we are finally here for the NBA playoffs. 16 teams remain as we go on to crown the 2024-2025 NBA champion. Today, 4 games, 4 predictions, and 4 best bets for the Milwaukee Bucks taking on the Indiana Pacers, the Los Angeles Clippers taking on the Denver Nuggets, the Detroit Pistons taking on the New York Knicks, and the Minnesota Timberwolves going to LA to take on the Lakers. Obviously, all of these games are game ones, but we're going to give you a best bet and prediction for each one of these 4 games. Now, before we get into it, folks, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily NBA predictions and best bets here on the channel. Now that we are into the playoffs, we're going to get NBA games pretty much every single day until probably the NBA Finals. So make sure, again, to hit that subscribe button down below and leave a like if you are enjoying these. Earlier today, we posted our MLB best bets, which are daily on the channel as well. So that's linked in the description down below. And tomorrow over on Greedo Plays MMA, we're going to have our UFC Kansas City predictions with Ian Machado Gary and Carlos Prates in the main event from the T-Mobile Center. Go make sure to subscribe to Greedo Plays MMA. That is linked in the description down below. Okay, on to the first of our 4 games today. We start things off in Indianapolis, Indiana for the Indiana Pacers and the Milwaukee Bucks. So I'm going with the Pacers, and I'm going with the Pacers to cover 5.5 points as well. I think the narrative around this series is that the Bucks can be really competitive when Damian Lillard comes back. It looks like Dame will be back sooner rather than later. I always kind of thought when it came out that Dame was trying to get back on the court with the blood clot, obviously, being gone, I think now. I always thought that it was likely game 3 for Damian Lillard, and I still think it probably is that. If they do lose today, I think there's a chance they do try to rush him back for that Tuesday game in Indianapolis, but I think it just makes sense they wait until Friday for Dame to make his return. We'll see. Again, that's all dependent on how the Bucks feel about the situation, which I do find, hold on, is very funny, that the Indiana Pacers and Milwaukee Bucks are on ESPNU on Friday? What is this, a college game? I mean, are the Hoosiers playing? Are the Hoosiers playing the Badgers? Like, what? I guess Marquette would be a better team. Regardless, I find that really odd. But yeah, I think Dame will probably be back for that game 3. If I had to guess, that's when Dame will probably be back. Without Dame, I just don't think the Bucks can compete with Indiana personally. I just don't think they can. I have said it before. I'm going to say it again. I think the Pacers are going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I said that in January when the Pacers were, in France losing to the San Antonio Spurs, and I'm still saying it now. I've been high on this team all year long, and I'm still adamant on the fact I think this team is going to make the Eastern Conference Finals. And yes, that means I think they can take out the Cleveland Cavaliers in a 7-game series, right? We'll get to that when we get there, and trust me, guys, when we're doing these playoff predictions, I'm not just going to pick the Pacers in every game. There are going to be spots where we're going to have to not take the Pacers, obviously, or not take the team we think is going to win every series because it's a 7-game series. You go home and home, obviously. You got to pick your spots. But in a game 1 with no Damian Lillard, yes, this is where the Pacers absolutely dominate Milwaukee. Giannis is going to post a 40-point triple-double in every game, though. I'm not even joking. I think that might happen. Giannis, historically, and over the last couple seasons, has absolutely dominated Indiana. That's just what he does against the Pacers. Indiana, we know, is not the best defensive basketball team. Giannis usually has his way with this squad. You look at the season series, the Bucks did beat the Pacers in 3 of 4 games this year, but 2 of those were before January, and that's when the Pacers, I rember that Pacers-Bucks game on New Year's Eve, and that was such a different Pacers team back then. That was a game that they were down big in. Obviously, Giannis had another huge night. They climbed back, but ultimately the Bucks pulled away in the 4th quarter. The Pacers did beat them in Indiana the second time around on March 11th. But trust me, this is a much different Pacers team, right? That game on March 11th, by the way, was the Tyrese Halliburton four-point play. They ran their football-like play, obviously getting Halliburton in the corner, taking that 3, gets fouled, hits it, game over, right? I think the Pacers are just the better basketball team. This team is so much better than what they were at the beginning of the year. This is a 50-win team, guys. And for the first time since, the Paul George era, the Indiana Pacers have a home playoff series, right? Because in the Oladipo era, they were always they were technically a 4 bubble year, but obviously no home court. They were a 5 the year before, the year he got hurt, where they went to Boston and lost. They got swept. It's the first home playoff series that has been held at the Gainbridge Fieldhouse in a very long time. This crowd's going to be amped, even though the tickets are $30 to get into this game. Last year was like 60, like 70 actually. What? Seriously? No, it was like 100. Now that I think about it, that's crazy. As soon as I leave Indiana, that's nice. Anyways, The crowd should be going. I get it's a 10 a.m. game or 1 p.m. game, obviously, out there. The crowd should be rocking for this one. And yes, Giannis, I think, is going to go off in this game. I just don't think I just don't think the guys around him can really help. I'm just going to be honest. There is no Drew Holiday. There's no Chris Middleton. There's no Damian Lillard. Right? 2 of those guys aren't even on the team anymore. Taurean Prince, Brook Lopez, and Kyle Kuzma and KPJ are not going to be enough to help Giannis win this basketball game. Indiana, 1 through 5 in the starting lineup, are much better than Milwaukee. Right? You get Tyrese Halliburton, who is this generation's Chris Paul. I remain adamant on that fact, too. Tyrese Halliburton, I believe, when it's all said and done, is going to have a better career than Chris Paul will. And that's no disrespect to Chris Paul. I understand in Chris Paul's prime, right? Chris Paul in his prime has been a better scorer than Tyrese Halliburton ever has been. And I hope Tyrese can someday get to that spot. Obviously, when we're talking about New Orleans Hornets, Chris Paul. But I firmly believe Tyrese Halliburton is going to win a ring at some point of his career. And I think he's going to be an all-time better player than Chris Paul. But I think it's going to be close. But that's just how good I think Tyrese is. Andrew Nembhard came alive in the postseason last year at the game-winning shot in game 3 or 4 against Milwaukee. Pascal Siakam, Miles Turner, Aaron Nesmith. I like the bench. McConnell, Mathurin, Obi. Yeah, give me Indiana in this spot, especially without Damian Lillard. When Lillard comes back, it changes the series personally for me. I still think Indiana can beat the Bucks in a 7-game series with Dame, but it really changes a lot of things when Lillard's on the court because there's no true second option for the Bucks. Who's their second option right now without Dame? Kuzma, KPJ, Brook. Taking his deep pocket 3, I'm all right. Indiana, via the blowout today, they just outmatched Milwaukee in the spot. And yes, they beat him in the playoffs last year in the first round. I get it. Completely different circumstance. Giannis was out that time around. I'm still taking Indiana, though, to beat Milwaukee. We move on to our second game of the day. And this is one where I don't really feel bad about taking the Clippers. I think the Clippers are winning the series. And guys, I think there's a chance they beat the Nuggets in 5 games. I'm serious about that. I think the Clippers are so much better than Denver, and I don't think it's particularly close. I don't want to say it's a mismatch. I just think the Clippers are so much better than Denver. I don't know where the odds are at now. I believe the Clippers are still an overall series favorite to beat Denver. But I remember when this series first, got announced, when the Clippers beat the Warriors, and I should have jumped at it on the time. I didn't. The Clippers were plus 150 dogs to win the series. I think they're now either even or they're favorites. And it makes sense, guys. The Clippers right now are on an 8-game winning streak going into the playoffs. They beat the Warriors in a loser goes to the play-in game, winner goes into the playoffs, obviously. They win that clutch game against the Warriors, and now they get Denver. And guys, the Clippers are 10 times better. The starting lineup is 10 times better than Denver. It just is. You take away Nikola Jokic, obviously, and the Nuggets are crap. We know that. But the thing is here, okay, the Clippers 1 through 5 are so much better. Chris Dunn is a offensive liability like Russell Westbrook, but regardless, defensively he's great. Okay, Harden, Powell, Kawhi, Zubac. The Clippers are never healthy in the playoffs. They are healthy this year. All that load management from Kawhi this year, not playing his first game until late December, early January? Well, hell, it paid off this year. Because look, the Clippers still won 50 games. We saw a career resurgence out of Norman Powell. Same with James Harden. We saw Zubac play potentially his best year of his career this year. And now Kawhi's healthy, and we've seen at the end of the year, yeah, Kawhi is still Kawhi. He might not be Toronto Raptors Kawhi Leonard, but he's still very good, and now you get Kawhi in the playoffs. Again, I think for most of the season, guys, as a Lakers fan, I've looked at the playoffs and said, okay, I want Denver and the Thunder on one side of the bracket, and I want the Lakers on the other. Now, I don't care who they get in the Western Conference Finals, because you're going to have to beat a good team regardless to get into the NBA Finals, but those are the 2 teams I kind of wanted to avoid. As the season went on, through the last couple weeks, last month, that shifted from I'm not scared of Denver anymore. And I don't think I'm scared of the Clippers, but it's just that's now the other best team in the conference, personally, to me. If I had to rank the top 4 teams in no order, it's Lakers, Thunder, Warriors, Clippers. Those are the 4 best squads, I think, personally. Yes, the Rockets are right there. And I'm not saying, again, I think the Warriors are going to beat the Rockets. I just think in terms of, likeliness to win a championship, yeah, the Warriors are there. Now, they don't match up very well with the Rockets, and we're going to get to that tomorrow because I'm telling you that's a horrible matchup for them. But anyways, in this spot today, I'm going with the Clippers. Nikola Jokic, guys, if the Nuggets are going to win this series, Jokic needs to put on single-handedly put on the best playoff series performance of all time. I'm serious. He's going to have to average a 50-point triple-double to win the series. Because they're just outmatched. They don't play defense. Obviously, they just fired Mike Malone, but they don't play defense. Their number 2 option is Jamal Murray, who they can't really rely on, who Chris Dunn's going to be all over all game long. It's going to have to be Jokic completely dominating this series for them to win. And I'll go as far as to say, if Nikola Jokic, guys, wins the NBA championship this year, which is so far-fetched, if Jokic wins this series, we're gonna have to have an uncomfortable situation about how Jokic is potentially a top 5 player of all time. And that's not an understatement. If Jokic can pull this one out of his ass this year and take this team to the NBA Finals and win the finals, yes, I'm going to put Jokic in the top 5 all time. Maybe even top 3. I know it's only his second ring, but 3 MVPs if he wins a title with this team. Because guys, this team is not good. They are horrible. Compared to past Nugget squads. Yes, MPJ, Aaron Gordon are still here. Guys, this team actively plays Russell Westbrook 20 plus minutes a night, who can't shoot the 3 ball and has had his blunders, to put it lightly, throughout this season. 1 through 5, the Clippers are so much better. Harden and Zubac, the high pick and roll, obviously. You get Norman Powell, who's shooting lights out this year. He has reverted back into, a Norman Powell type role, but he's just more knockdown now from beyond the arc. And you get a healthy Kawhi Leonard, too. And Zubac is playing the best ball of his career. Yeah, I'm taking the Clippers here in this series. I am in the series, but for this game, I'm taking them to beat Denver game 1. Guys, I think the game Denver is going to get is probably going to be game 2. And I think the Clippers probably win 3 straight after that. I got Clippers in 5, personally. I really do. Guys, they're so much better than the Nuggets. I don't know. We'll see as the series goes on. I think today's going to be really telling because I think this is a huge game for the Clippers to get, right? You get 1 game at home or you get 1 game on the road, and then, game 2, if you don't get it, it's fine because you're still going back home, evening up the series. It's a huge game for the Clippers, and I think they show out. The Nuggets are going to really need some voodoo dark magic tonight, and I just don't think it's going to happen. Again, if Jokic can pull this one out of his ass, I'm going to give him all the credit in the world. I just don't think he's able to. Clippers win this game as dogs. Keep your points. We want the money line. Moving on to our third game of the day, we go to the Garden. The New York Knicks take on the Detroit Pistons. This is one of the toughest series to predict for me. I'm not going to say right now who I think is going to win the series because I think the first 2 games in New York really matter. Well, obviously, but hear me out here. Detroit this season has dominated the Knicks. They have. In the regular season, they have beat up on the Knicks. They went 3-1 against New York this year in the regular season. The only one that the Knicks won was November 1st. I believe it was both these teams are their first or second games of the season. And that's at a point in time where we didn't really know what Detroit was going to be this year, obviously coming off of that really bad season last year, right? After that, the Pistons have gone to New York, won twice in the last game this month. A couple weeks ago, they beat the Knicks by 9 points. Cade Cunningham scored 36 in that game, right? I know there were, the Knicks didn't ultimately care that much about winning that game, but anyways, the Pistons still got it. There was a reason why I think the Pistons wanted to lose those games against the Bucks and wanted to get in this 6-3 spot. I know, again, they said they wanted to smoke with the Indiana Pacers. They wanted their, little malice in the palace, revisiting, but ultimately this was the much easier series for Detroit. I think the Pacers would have got them in 5 or 6. This is a better matchup for them. And yes, it's against the higher seed, but it's a much more favorable matchup for Detroit. It's the lack of depth of the Knicks, and I get it. We're going down to the playoffs, right? Shortened rotations, I understand that. But the Knicks have been playing with a shortened rotation all year long. And now, all right, I don't want to say these guys, I don't think they're worn out that much. But it's just, how many guys does Tibbs really trust to play playoff minutes for the squad, right? And the addition of Mitchell Robinson does, change some things, obviously. I don't trust either of the guards coming off the bench. Deuce McBride and Cameron Payne have just been mid this season, and if they even see the court, right? There's a chance, guys, 6 guys play tonight for the Knicks. Brunson, Bridges, Hart, Adenubi, Cat, and then Mitchell Robinson. I'm sure Deuce will play as well, but probably that's the 7 tonight. And Deuce hasn't been as good, I don't think, towards the tail end of this year, I'm going to be honest. Jalen Brunson, he's fine, right? Brunson dealt an injury in the Lakers game earlier this season. There was some question marks around him. Brunson's completely fine. I think the Pistons play them extremely close today, guys. Detroit's just one of these teams. They are good. They really are. Cade Cunningham, right? All NBA type season, all-star year this year. You get Malik Beasley, who's one of the best three-point shooters in all of basketball this year. Tim Hardaway was great this year as well. Asar Thompson, very solid. And Tobias Harris and Jalen Duren with the bigs have been pretty good as well. They've got a decent bench too, right? Dennis Schroeder's giving them really good minutes this season. Ron Holland, Malik Beasley, Isaiah Stewart at times, right? I mean, this bench unit is going to give Detroit some good minutes. I think they keep this game extremely close. I think they do. I think they're going to cover the 7.5 points. I think that's kind of a gift. If I'm going to be honest here. This is a Detroit team that's beat New York 3 out of the 4 times this season. I think they are most definitely going to play a competitive game tonight. I really think so. I just don't think they're able to close. I'm going to be honest. I don't think they're going to be able to close the deal. This is going to be a game that's going to come down to, like, the couple last shots. I think ultimately this game is won. The Knicks are up by 2. They get a miss at the end of the game from the Pistons. Knicks get the rebound. They go to the free throw line. Jalen Brunson sinks 2 to win the game. Like, that type of thing, I think, happens tonight. This is going to be a very competitive series. Kind of like all these past Knicks big-time playoff series in the Brunson era, right? Hell, look at the Indiana series, right? Look at that series that they had. I mean, I know this is 2021 at this point, different team, right? But still, look at the Hawks series in the first round. Look at the Heat series a couple years ago as well. The Knicks play very tough series in the first round. I know the Pacers series last year was in the second, but still, like, this is going to be a tough series for the Knicks. I think they win game 1, don't get me wrong. But I think it's so crucial Detroit keeps this game close tonight. And I think they're going to, but this is a team, again, they're very young. I mean, who on this team has played in a playoff game before? Tobias Harris and Tim Hardaway? I could be missing a guy, but I think those are probably the only 2. Oh, Schroeder. Those are the only 3 guys in the Pistons who have played in a playoff game before. I mean, it's Cade's playoff debut with Sar Thompson, Jalen Duren, right? Ron Holland, Isaiah Stewart. None of these guys have played playoff basketball before, right? We'll see if Jaden Ivey comes back. I doubt he's going to, or at least make a, contribute to this playoff rotation. That's why it's so important Detroit stays in this game. And I think they're going to. This team is better than you think they are. Oh, they're the Pistons. Yeah, no, they're pretty solid. This is going to go down to the wire. I think the Knicks win it, but I think Detroit keeps it extremely close. So we're going plus 7.5 here for the Detroit Pistons, but I'm taking the New York Knicks to win the game outright. As we go on to the final game of the day at the Crypto Center in Los Angeles, California, the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm going with the Los Angeles Lakers to win and cover the 4.5 points. I think the Lakers are going to get the Timberwolves in 5 games. I think so. I think the Lakers are probably going to win the first 3 games of the series. I think the Timberwolves are going to get game 4 on Sunday afternoon in Minneapolis. And I think the Lakers close the deal the following Wednesday in LA. Personally, that's just how I think the series goes. Or I think the Lakers can sweep too. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Lakers fan. When you look at this series matchup-wise, I just don't know how the Timberwolves are going to be able to guard this basketball team. I just don't know, guys. I don't know how Minnesota is going to be able to deal with this Lakers squad. Guys, the Mavs team that played Minnesota last season was worse than the Lakers team this year. LeBron James wasn't on that Dallas team. Yeah, Kyrie was there. Derek Lively looked like an all-star player in that series, sure. But this Lakers team is better than what Dallas had last year. The Lakers and Timberwolves split this season. But I'll say the 2 games that Minnesota won against the Lakers was during the Lakers' worst stretch of the entire year. They were both in Minnesota. LeBron, I don't think, played the second one, if I'm not mistaken. But that was at the lowest point of the year for the Lakers. I'm just going to be honest. The Timberwolves have not beat the Lakers with Luka Doncic. And I get it. They only played once. It was in February. And Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle did not play that game. But the Lakers win it fairly easily. They let Minnesota back in that game late, but the Lakers were always in control. I think they had the lead the entire game. That was the game that started with a logo 3 by Austin Reeves. So the Lakers have looked really good in that matchup against Minnesota. And when you just break these lineups down, guys, between Minnesota and Los Angeles, you just question, how are the Timberwolves going to be able to guard the Lakers? I'm serious. Okay, let's think about it here. Who are they putting on Luka? It's going to be Jaden McDaniels, right? I assume. That's what they did last year. It's going to have to be Jaden McDaniels again. Luka's going to exploit that again. He's going to get the switch on the screen, and he's going to have Rudy Gobert on him. Oh. Domination. Right? That right there. That is all Luka needs. He dominated Rudy in that pick and roll game last year in the Western Conference Finals. He's going to do the same thing this year. Okay, but anyways, they're going to put Jaden McDaniels on Luka. Ant's going to be on AR, if I had to guess, probably. I guess that leaves Mike Conley. No, Ant's going to have to be on Rui. They're going to have, Mike Conley's going to be on Luka? Or not Luka, sorry, on AR. Randall obviously on LeBron, but yeah, they're probably gonna have to go Conley on Austin Reeves. Guys, Mike Conley, I'm just gonna be honest, I don't know how playable Mike Conley is in this series. He's the odd guy out in this, he just is. I think the Timberwolves are gonna have to go to big Dante DiVincenzo minutes, or Nickeil Alexander-Walker for that sake as well, because of the defense and the athleticism of Alexander Walker. I don't think Mike Conley's all that playable in this series at all, because he's gonna get picked on. LeBron has said it himself. It is tough for teams to guard the Lakers because your third best defender has to be on Austin Reeves, who is an all-star level player, who's a guy who averaged over 20 points per game this season. He's your third option. Oh, that's tough to guard, I don't think this series really even revolves around LeBron James. I mean, we know LeBron's going to perform. And guys, this is how this playoffs is going to go. Okay? All right, let's just be honest with ourselves here, okay? What are they going to say after LeBron wins his 5th championship this year? I mean, what is the argument going to be about how this guy is not the greatest basketball player of all time? 40 years of age, this will be his 5th championship, 2nd with the Lakers, again, at 40. After he beats Ant, he's going to go and probably beat the Rockets because Amen Thompson's going to have Steph Curry in hell, and then beat the 68-win Thunder with the best player of this next upcoming generation, if not Luka, right, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and then beat the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals? I mean, how is this guy not the greatest player of all time? What are they going to say then? That's all I'm saying. But I don't think the series really even revolves around LeBron. I think LeBron's going to put up great numbers, but where the Lakers are going to win the series is going to be with Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic. I think a big part of the story about, are the Lakers really viable threats this year, is with the center position. And I get it. That's where the OKC series might get a little tough, but we've seen the Lakers go into OKC and win before. And even maybe potentially with the Rockets. But this is not one of the series where not having a center is really going to hurt them. Yeah, Gobert is a defensive threat. He's not going to drop more than 12 points on you. So we're okay with Jackson Hayes on Rudy Gobert the entire series, obviously. Bench-wise, oh yeah, Minnesota's a deeper bench, 100%. DiVincenzo, Alexander Walker, Naz Reid, 100%. The Lakers are, Gabe hits some big shots. DFS I like a lot. Vando's great defensively. But yes, the better bench is the Timberwolves. But the thing is, the Lakers don't need a deep bench in this series. I mean, we'll see how much Goodwin plays. I assume it's going to be a 9-man rotation, right? Luka, AR, Rui, Braun, Hayes, Gabe, Goodwin, Vando, DFS. I doubt we see any Dalton Connect minutes. We really haven't down the stretch of the season, nor obviously with Shake, Alex Len, and I guess Markieff and Bronny, right? I know Jemison and Koloko didn't make the playoff roster. That's okay. I don't know why we need Alex Len here, but it's okay, I guess. They didn't want to release him to make way for Jemison. Okay. In this spot, though, the Lakers they're gonna beat up on the Timberwolves. It's gonna take a Herculean type effort for Anthony Edwards to win the series for them. I just don't see it personally. I think the Lakers are always gonna have a good defender on AR the entire game. Or sorry, on Anthony Edwards. You're gonna bring in DFS off the bench. You're gonna bring in Vando off the bench. I mean, he's gonna be in hell the entire game. And yes, Edwards will still lead the Timberwolves and still lead them in points, 100%. But the Lakers are just a good defensive team now, and they're gonna kill you from the 3-point line, man. I just don't know how the Timberwolves guard this team. I think the biggest game changer in the series is Austin Reeves. I know Luka again is expected to dominate Minnesota, and he 100% will with Rudy Gobert, but Austin Reeves on Mike Conley is it's brutal, And I think they're gonna force Mike Conley to come off the court at his age. Yeah, the Lakers are gonna force Conley to come off the court, and I think that just affects everything in the series. So I'm taking the Lakers tonight though, -4.5. I think Lakers in 5. We'll get to that obviously as we keep going. UFC, KFC, OKC, Lakers in 5. We got this one. Folks, thank y'all for watching. Make sure that subscribe button down below for more. We'll be back tomorrow for more NBA predictions with 4 more games. Tomorrow in the playoffs, 3 blowout potential games, and then Rockets Warriors. We'll get to that tomorrow. But folks, if you haven't yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.